Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chaotic Neutral. And we are on episode, oh my god, 44 of the Benefactor. I'm here with Kate, Corinne. I've just realised you're in different boxes. Okay, we'll do that in a second. With Kate, Corinne, Nick, and Felicia. But we have video. We're here. And they're all muted at the moment because screw them. It's me you're here for. So ever since Discord got rid of their video conferencing capabilities, because that's what's behind this frame, we searched around for some places where we could get hold of video. This is a little bit of a trial. There's a few little rough edges, as you can see. I'm a bit pixelated, but the rest of the guys are looking pretty. Look at that. We've got them in high definition, and hopefully they'll remain so for the whole session. We hope. Anyway, we're going to go back to the Institute where a lot of stuff is going on. People are connecting in different ways to deities and patrons. They're also connecting to some dick who's in a pressure chamber who seems to think that what they've been doing is absolutely fine but has given them the answer, hopefully, to this dungeon, this clandestine base. Blow it up and get the hell out of there. Let's see if they do, how well they do in session 44. Oh my god, of the Benefactor. Welcome back, everybody, and let's unmute the players. Hello, everyone.
Yo.
Hello.
Well, so far so good with the new video conferencing software. I'm afraid I haven't got the chat up yet. Oh my god, on my phone. We'll just have a quick hi and see who's there, shall we? Looks like we've got Rattles. Hello, dude. How's it going? And all our favourite bots. And some of our... Yay. Hello, bots. We love you, bots.
What can you do? We don't discriminate.
Yeah, we don't discriminate.
In my mind, they're not bots, they're complex AIs, and they've decided that they really like this, and this is just like watching.
Yep. Although saying that, I think Angel of Light and Bloodluster aren't bots. If you aren't bots, say I am not a bot. This would be great.
Some people are shy.
Hey,
Snipes here.
Yeah. I never know how to read that username.
And Snipes here as well.
You have to look at it upside down. It's literally snipe upside down is the username, but you can only see it when you look at it upside down. So I just call him Snipe.
Oh, yeah, that almost works on my phone because it like corrects itself.
Oh, it's upside down. Oh, it's still upside down. Well,
I'm working on the basis that Snipe is most definitely a robot. He's definitely an AI.
Yeah.
Only an AI would do.
Oh yeah, I've seen
of,
him, so definitely.
Yeah, some sort of advanced AI, and humanity's being judged through us. Oh god. So right.
Wears a flesh suit and everything.
Yeah.
everybody's here and everybody's looking good. I'm looking slightly pixelated, but I'm retro, I'm old. So, if you remember from last session, I gave Felicia, or Glory, a quick Arcana lesson. And we found out that the red residuum, this is something that's been part of Valyria for quite some time, so when red lyrium came out, I was quite pissed. Is made from people. Red lyrium is people.
Yeah.
And
it's made of people.
It is indeed.
Hashtag TV
But
trips.
it's usually made of people, and they found a way of making red residuum from demons, because demons don't have a soul. What they have that passes for a soul, the thing that allows them to cast magic that connects them to the maelstrom, which, if you remember, in Illyria is this giant storm of pure energy, which all magic, the energy that powers magic, ether, comes out of the maelstrom. It gets shaped by wizards through ritual, or through bards by song, or by sorcerers through force of their will. So, for example, for Glory, her black dragon blood that she's been imbued with is just a modem to the maelstrom. And so it allows her to survive tapping into that power source without dying, basically. So there are sorcerers in this world who have had like a tenuous link with the maelstrom, have tried to access that energy, and because they haven't had that filter, have just spontaneously exploded or something. And wild mages, of course, are the ones that have somehow tapped into it, but found something within themselves to shape that magic, regardless of the huge amount of energy that's coursing through the body. And yeah, they're capturing something from these demons and putting it into this red residuum to reduce it down. And they're using that for enchantment. And the reason for that, and the justification that you were given, was they found a way of cleansing it. So and making this red residuum by the ton, which is what they've been doing in this facility, and cleansing it is as efficient as mining the residuum out of the ground. Some would say it's probably faster, because Ostergald, if anything else, is a rather industrious city. And that's what they do here. Nice, harmless, apart from the fact that they're pulling in demons. The demons started off feral, animalistic, clawing at their cages as they were being destroyed. And not out of fear, but to try to just kill people, because that's what demons do. And then the quiet ones came. And they watched and watched until all of a sudden, one day, one of them managed to break the force fields. The guy that is with you, Abe, or Abernathy, is a shield mage. And he said that one of his colleagues was the shield mage in question for this. And the containment field the guy was generating got broken. The summoning circle got hacked by the demon. And then all their friends came through. Flood upon flood upon flood of their friends that took over the Institute and are now running riot throughout the Institute. That's about the short of it. Before the end of last session, two things in particular happened. So first of all, Kate, Cora, through her rage of someone attacking her best friend, and a little bit more rage for Abe and his explanations, triggered your emotions. And as a result, you connected with your patron. And a male figure that you don't know the description of, but you can just feel that they suddenly just sat up from whatever they were doing and went, oh, how interesting. And you got a surge of power. Your next attack, regardless of what it is going to be a critical. It will hit, and it will crit. So use it wisely.
So don't shoot dogs.
Combination, Simon. A dangerous combination when given to a warlock.
Yeah, well, there we go. If she wants, she could just not attack until she sees something really big and then throw the biggest thing she has. Or she can ration it for whenever it happens. Similarly, Nick wanted to try something before the end of the session. Didn't realise what it was going to be, but thankfully I had enough in the cannon to deal with it. During this very interesting and important, globally important time, an event that he's in, Farewell chose to use divination and connected with his god and the celestial host that god has, the Raven Queen, and explained the situation, at which point he was pulled through a shadowy door into a large Celestine church, a church that is impossibly long, impossibly high. In some places the walls you can just see stars. It's like the church is only half there. You feel you may have even been in the astral sea because an angel walks up to you, tells you thank you for telling us about this, because the demons have a natural ability to obscure their machinations from the gods. And he handed you a scroll of teleportation that is keyed for Glory to use. And they requested that you go and blow up this entire institute and then use the scroll to get the hell out of it. That's where we time in, because Farewell has just opened his eyes, given the scroll to Glory, and they're planning their next steps.
And Cora is attempting a short rest.
Yes, Cora is. Yeah.
I remembered that.
Yeah, she's trying, but she keeps getting distracted by the annoying squib.
Let's see if your short rest goes off first, shall we? Okay. Yeah, you got a 19. You are uninterrupted for an hour.
Nice.
Your spell slots are
That
back.
means
So,
spell slot.
as in we're starting, or can I actually hit the button that says short rest?
You can
hit it.
Yeah, hit short rest. I've just rolled. Nothing came to you in a whole hour.
Okay.
Well, in that case, Ivan would have taken a short rest as well, so I can get his hit points back.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you can have a short rest if you wish.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Getting hit? What is that?
Not everybody can blink out of existence.
Yeah,
Oh, and thank you, Snipe. Yeah, check out the video on the players, eh? So Abernathy is taking a certain amount of rest. You can see he's still very tense. He still doesn't believe that he's going to get out of this alive, but he's taking a moment maybe to collect his thoughts, just to give himself a moment of peace as you all descend from your argument into a kind of plotting silence. Glory reads through the scroll, and yep, you feel totally confident of reading this. If anything, it's kind of... It feels personal, Glory. It feels like it feels like it's a letter to you. Weird, though.
Ooh.
That's worrying. That's really worrying. Okay. So, how are we going to blow this place up?
The Doomsday Project.
Well, I do have one question. And I turn to the shield mage. Is the armory on the way to the place where we blow the thing up?
No. We deliberately kept it so that this place is roughly spider-shaped. You have to go into the central hub and through again out into the various areas. The demons fortified themselves inside the laboratory, inside the manufactory, as we called it, and they've sent out kind of scouts, guards to take out the rest of us. They're mostly making a field of operations, presumably because the portal is their main asset, to stage whatever operation they want to here on the prime material plane.
Yeah, that wasn't really the question that I asked.
No, it's not on the way, but I could take you there.
If it's not on the way, I don't think it's worth it. What do you think, Eclipse?
Well, we were needing that weapon in order to blow the place up, so we kind of have to go by it, I think.
Not really. No, we can go to the power plant and throw all the switches, and that would be it. We would probably have about, I'd say, about 30 seconds to collect our thoughts and contemplate our fate.
That is 5 rounds. Just again, when did you say the portal would close by itself?
No, I said that if the safety measures are still in place, the power source between the maelstrom and this facility, which is just a portal to the maelstrom, normally quite a reckless endeavor, but as I say, it's been used all over the world and very safely as well because of this this push to go safety system, as they call it. It will just close. The portal will no longer be sustained. The veil will creep back in, and it will cut this place off from the energy. Whereas if we undo the safety measures, and you can see he's looking a bit sick when he says this, and ramp up the power to full, the energy will pour out into the portal, and it will open the portal quite wide for a short period of time, and then it will naturally collapse as it hits critical point, and the veil reasserts its authority on reality. We're probably talking around about a 200-foot radius of pure energy.
My question wasn't how it works. I was asking when so you're saying it will close by itself.
Oh yes,
if the safety works.
Yes, if
they haven't prevented it.
Well, it'll close either way. It's whether or not it does explosively. We've got about an hour left.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hang
on. We've got 3 hours left. He said it was 4 hours beforehand. So you've got 3 hours left.
3 hours until it closes, yeah?
That's correct.
Okay, and it closing is good? Or...
Well,
no, we
ordinarily
want it to
it's
explode
good,
and kill everything in here.
We want to destroy this place. So, I mean...
Okay, so that's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm up to speed now from being away.
Yeah, it's sorry, Eclipse. You look tired, so we let you nap. So sorry we didn't bring you up to speed. We just thought you needed the sleep.
Yes.
Cat nap. You can sleep anywhere.
Yes.
And of course, that supposes that they've not found a way to keep the portal open indefinitely. So nuking this place is a good idea.
Agreed. It's our duty. He's looking brave, but he's shooting himself.
The filthiest look you've ever seen come across Noel's face. Like, are you fucking me right now?
He's looking completely serious.
Yes, Glory?
How certain... You said the monsters... Well, the demons cannot operate the weapons you built as they do not contain a soul.
That's correct.
Is there any protections around the armory that will, at least stop them from smuggling them out of here before it blows up? Unless they've already started, that is.
I doubt they'd be able to do anything like that in 30 seconds. plausible. I mean,
No,
there's
now.
a
They
powerful.
could be doing it right now. They have access to the portal. They've had access to the portal for I don't know how long.
It's possible. They could take one of the devices and start analyzing it. I guess if they have scholars, they seem to want to analyze people more than objects. But it's in a vault that has a very powerful arcane lock. And even if I was to take you there, I am only one researcher, and it takes 5 of us to normally open it. We would have to somehow hoodwink the lock.
Okay, so so Glory was asking if it is locked and has other defenses, which it seemed to do.
Yes, it does. Yes, it's a very powerful defense as well. You can't phase through it, teleport through it. It's been made into an arcane sanctum.
Right, so it's just as powerful as your locks that kept the demons at bay?
No more so.
Right.
Don't punch him again. Not yet. I have plans.
There's no point in punching him anymore. He's got nowhere left to go. But it's just like, oh yeah, this is absolutely like, oh, indestructible. Really? Like this whole place?
Do not agree.
People are flawed.
Smart, but she's smart enough to know this.
Real people are flawed, and I try to write as real as I can for a fantasy game, so what can I say?
So, how do we get to the power room?
Well, we have to go back through the central hub and back out again, basically.
He's literally going. Follow him, everyone. Oh.
I realised I was being backlit.
It's live action. Oh god, I didn't know.
Let's go.
Shit, it's become a LARP. Fuck.
The only problem is that you've met one of them. That means that they're probably even now trying to extrapolate what you would do, who you are, what your plans might be. And they seem to have a strange, unearthly intelligence about them.
Oh, by the way, did we get to know in what time frame this collapse happened? Did it happen like a day ago, or did it happen a week ago, or when did this all thing happen?
It happened about, I think it was about 2 days ago, I think he said it was. It's super recent. Yeah.
Okay.
Shortly after you guys left, this all kicked off.
Yeah.
You also know that Renata Green has been here recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
How far is it, and how long would it take us to get through the central hub? Don't talk about monsters or demons. That's our problem. Just normally.
What is the quickest way, essentially? Quickest and safest.
Through the lift and through the central hub. You just need to go down one of the corridors. There's another lift, and it goes down into the pit, into the. It used to be an underground chasm. About 10 minutes, I'd say.
And how easy is it to destroy the power plant?
There's a few things that we'd need to do. I can probably best if I give you each a thing to do. So you would let's see. We would need to. There's a number of switches and levers that would need to be flipped. Some of them are locked, so you'd probably have to break the lock before flipping the switch.
What was if I just went in there and started smashing things?
That could potentially work. I can give you pointers on what to smash.
Fire always works. And acid.
There's several ways that we can do this, and there's a really stupid and reckless and going to get one of us killed way, but it would be really quick and safe for everybody else.
We're all dead anyway, so what does it matter? There's a 2 foot thick chamber around the central chamber. a chamber around the central portal. It has a hatch that can be opened for maintenance purposes, but not while the portal is open. The hatch effectively welds itself shut during those times. It's something that one of the designers came up with. All the metal swells against each other and you can't open it, whilst all that energy is pounding against the walls. But if there was a way that you could somehow break a 2-foot thick wall, maybe.
We have a scroll teleport that goes anywhere in the world.
Yes. But I have a better plan for that wall. Cora, sweetie, how thick of a thing can you jump through?
5 foot.
Yeah. Are you 5 foot? Yeah, not very far. But it might be enough. What are you thinking?
Well, you're just as good as I am at blowing things up with fire.
Right. Why do we need to get through this door again?
To get into the room.
To get into the chamber where the portal is.
Do we need to get in there, though?
Abernathy points out, no, we can get into the power plant itself. That's just a few small security details to get past. What Farewell was asking me is if we, to use his phrasing, fucked shit up, would that cause the explosion? Well, yes, it would. In order to cause the explosion, we get into the power plant. There's a vessel. It's just effectively a large metal room that is around the portal itself. But it is a chamber. It's what we call a reactor. Now, if you were able to pierce the reactor and then maybe call on the maelstrom and just feed that into the portal, that would do it.
It sounds like the best option is just going to the power plant and overloading the power plant and such, overloading everything and making it go boom.
That is definitely the plan, I guess.
Yeah.
But as a contingency, if suddenly we are desperate, I suppose we could just have at it at the walls and best. Anyway, he then recites to you the 5 things that you need to break in order to get to it. So 2 of them are switches in the control room, which is just a small room off the side of the main power plant.
So the switches in the control room?
Yeah, so 2 switches in the control room, and they are 20 foot apart. So, you'd have to kind of do one and then move across to the second one. There's 2 levers. Yeah, so there are 2 levers that are in the power plant itself. They are about 35 foot apart, and both of them are locked with a thick padlock that has an arcane lock spell placed on it, and he can undo only one of them. He's not authorized to do the second, so you would have to break that lock and then just simply move the lever from left to right, and that will stop one of the others. The final one is quite a large wheel, so it's a wheel valve, and you would have to, kind of pull this thing completely open, and that will open up the portal to its maximum iris. And at that point, because there won't be any limiters, which are the 2 levers with the locks on them, the energy will just pour into the portal itself, and the maelstrom will just wildly power the portal.
And 1 wheel. Okay.
So, 2 switches, 2
where were
levers,
the
1 wheel.
levers?
So I could. Can I, Simon, with my lash knife, grab something and pull it, such as a lever, or would it be better to just?
Yeah, you can Indiana Jones a lever, but as I say, the levers are the things that are locked. The switches, on the other hand, are just little kind of thumb switches. And
Yeah.
you know that a lot of artifice, especially in Ostergeld, now they have buttons and switches to be able to activate spells. So witchlock pistols, for example, have little switches that fire spells. Yeah.
Okay, so the switches are 20 foot apart. So
yeah,
though-
opposite sides of a control room.
Yeah. I could run very fast, but that doesn't. I think you would want me on one of the levers with the locks, so to pick the lock.
I can dispel one of the locks, and if he can do the other one, then it would only be removing them. So I can do a quick dispel. I'm probably the strongest here, so it probably makes sense if I do the large wheel.
Yeah, so if you do the wheel, I'll do the lock.
Question, do we have to do all of these at a time, or can we just do them in order?
In any order. Although once.
So there you go. No worries. No panic. We'll just go in and do them.
I
and then
thought
move on.
maybe to save your spell power, I can go for the lock. It should be fine.
I mean, I trust you. You know what you're doing. This is your wheelhouse. Just if it all goes wrong,
I think Fair will and
spell it.
Mm.
I trust you, good clips.
Yeah.
You know.
This spelling, it might make it easier if I have trouble with it, but it should be fine.
You did have trouble with the other lock.
No, because I didn't have trouble with because there was no lock on that side.
Okay. This sounds like we have the makings of a plan.
Let's get over there. It's you said back into the big room, and that's where all the things were. This is gonna be fun.
Well, I suggest we don't. Stealthy will take long time. I think we need to move quickly, and I think we just need to rush as fast as we can.
Agreed.
Yeah, last time they could see us in the dark anyway. What the hell happened to my accent?
Reset the scene, darling. Reset the scene.
Just as much light as possible, and so we can see. Does anybody of us have a daylight spell at all?
Dancing lights.
Yeah, dancing lights, but because they have a darkness spell.
I didn't prepare it. I didn't think I would need it, so I didn't.
He prepared a lot of useful things, though.
I'm very tired.
Yeah. You're gonna be even more tired in a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I want to get
using your spells.
Well,
so I summon a knife to my hand, and Iodin will take his witch lock out. Which the
farewell.
Yes.
Your knife, it can only take you to places you've seen before, right?
It can maybe see foot. Well, that's the furthest.
You're coming through a little bit bitty, Nick.
Wait. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I could hear it. It was just going very robotic. Okay, that wasn't just me then.
No, it was probably just my ping bottomed out. Apologies for that. I said the knife only lets me go about 60 foot. I think that's as far as I feel comfortable. So
okay. Yeah, I was wondering if you could get us back to the beginning, and then we could like trick them because they think we're in this area, but if we suddenly popped into the other, might throw them off a little bit.
Glory, do me an Arcana check.
Whew! I am doing the right things if I get to roll.
Or it's Simon telling you, you're old high, this is not gonna work.
I do that.
Well, my dude, not to be that one, but I rolled a nat 20.
Yes, this is what we want.
With a +5, so that's a 25.
That's what I'm talking about.
You knocked it out of the park. This was only a DC 13 because it was just a memory check. You saw how disgusted the Inquisitor was when they found out that Farewell Barebones had a portal key. Portal key breaks the veil,
Mm-hmm.
and the veil is what's keeping the maelstrom from entering past the bounds of the reactor. Now, this portal key specifically opens into a plane of darkness, limbo,
Undisclosed location.
between
Undisclosed location.
between this world and the plane of death. That much that Farewell has managed to determine is that it's something that was given to him from the plane of death. It's not taken him to the Shadowfell, so it's clearly taken him to the other place. It's a space between planes, but specifically between this and the Raven Queen's own plane of existence, where she is able to reassign souls and take them to the correct place, whether they are destined to go to the Astral Sea or whatever, or indeed reside there. So they seem to be very worried that he has a portal key. But also, he seems to have a slight command of it. He can use it to carve a hole in reality,
Yeah.
going through that plane and into the prime material plane again. He can make miniature wormholes. This is something that seems to be quite relevant to you right now.
I'm planning on launching my own Stargate series, so this is all.
You've got the underground facility. You've got the crazed scientist. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the old veteran.
Evil organization.
You got the hot
Well-
sidekick.
Three hot sidekicks and Aiden.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
what else? What else? Can man ask for?
Aiden's hot. In a rugged kind of way. Yeah. He's got
Yeah,
the anime boy backstory,
He's the emo
you know?
boy. He's the emo boy that you can change with your love.
I feel that considering that he's not here to defend himself, that I'm going to have to shame both of you right now. So consider both of you on the shame step.
Hey, he's not here to
To be
defend
one.
himself, so I can put him in as many ruffles and hearts as I want, okay? That's how
And
it
I will
works.
point out that I have control of his character sheet, that I am the one that will put him in ruffles and petticoats when the time is right.
Yeah.
Opportune.
Oh,
Now-
dear.
Shall we get this fucking party started?
Yes.
Indeed, we shall.
Okay. So
I think it is time.
Can I ask a quick question, DM?
You may.
While taking a short rest, I just want to confirm that it probably is not possible for me to also spend that hour ritually casting to get Owen back, because I'm not completely resting if I do that. Is that what you would rule?
That would take you 11 minutes if memory serves.
No, it's an hour.
Is it an hour?
It's an hour.
It's
Yeah.
an hour.
Unfortunately not.
Okay. Just checking. Cool.
Yeah. If it was 11 minutes on the 19 that you had, I'd go, yeah, right. But no, it's an hour.
Yeah, because even if you cast it with a spell slot, it's still an hour. Just an hour and 1 minute, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, in that case,
So Iden will take the lead because he'll use the flashlight that only he can see to give us a little bit more of a heads up.
yeah.
My owl,
I mean,
which I forgot
I've got a
about
torch.
last session. No, wait, my owl is not here. It's currently on the
No,
way
it's
to Renato,
fine.
I'll tell you. Should I call
Yeah.
that back?
Can you do it this far away?
No.
Yeah, I could just.
You can...
No, I can just put it back into.
Oh yes, you can
dimension,
dismiss
can't
it and then make it reappear. Yeah, that's right.
I? Yeah,
That's
Okay.
I'm
probably
gonna
best.
do that to
Okay.
not alert Rona right now.
You have an owl.
Yay.
Owls flying and then just went and disappeared, and then it's just like, fuck, where am I? So yeah.
I'm really
phew.
sorry, Athena. Your last mission is cancelled. Stay here, please.
Sure.
Maybe not.
She's a bird. She doesn't really care, I think.
So shall we?
Martin, I am using a really shitty one because my normal one will not work. So.
Yeah, not her new shiny one. That is correct.
So shall we go forward to what I'm sure is our opus, our destiny, call it what you will.
Right, out of the two of us, I'm the death cleric, and even I'm not this morbid. I mean, seriously.
Yes, well, I'm sure that you're looking forward to the next stage. But, I personally have
I assure
many
you,
other
my
things to
friend,
do.
I assure you, if this was your time, I'd fucking know about it. And I'm
But
not.
you think we're going to survive?
Of course, we're
after
going
all.
to survive. I think
You
the
got
big fu-
me. Of course you're going to survive. I'm not going out in this way. Please.
We are the main characters.
This is not even an assassination attempt from Excellence. I can't go out like this. Do you realize how much he could gloat afterwards? Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh.
Very well. Shall we continue?
Yeah, we're gonna blow this place up.
Let's go.
I'm
Oh,
quickly
thumbs
gonna
up.
reload this page. It shouldn't change anything, but it's just gonna go weird for us.
Okay, it'll go weird for just a second. Maybe you're the one that's chirping, because somebody is chirping.
I think it's
Yeah.
And Corinne's gone. Snapshot.
I am back.
Yay! You're back, and you are Felicia. So, let's set that up.
Oh, lol.
I'm sorry. It kind of went weird. Probably.
Well, while we're
yeah,
doing
mine,
this,
mine looks really pixelated, but it doesn't on the stream. It's weird.
It's been weird for a while, but it fixed itself after a little bit and then
Yeah.
goes back down. So it's up and down, but that's fine. As long as it looks good to Simon, we're golden.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that's fine.
yeah. Corinne kind of comes and goes, but that's fine.
You'll have to put a picture on Corinne's frame now. by the
Well,
way,
I've only got
in
Glory,
my
so
place.
that's what she's having. So there.
Okay. Well, I mean, glory's always appropriate.
Yes. There's never a bad time to have. Before we continue, can I ask all of you to just do something? Can you all click mute and then click back again? Okay,
Was muted.
one of you was
Yeah,
cheating.
I was
and-
muted.
Yep,
It's gone.
It's gone.
I could hear
It's
it.
gone.
Well, I could hear it as well, but a little.
Come back on, Nick, and see if it's you.
No.
Yep.
Yep.
It's back.
Yeah, Nick, your
It came
mic
back
is
before you started
cheaping.
speaking, so it's something you're doing. I don't know why.
What are you hearing?
Like
Like
a
a
little,
really high
like-
pitched squeaking, like.
It's never a chaotic neutral stream without technical difficulties.
I know. I mean, we'd be lacking something if we didn't have them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Seems to have gone. So let's carry on. So, shall we? With all the confidence of a wizard who only has cantrips left, he brushes himself down, picks up his wand, and steps out of the pressure chamber. He casts the light spell on his robes and walks forward. Aiden, quite well. Ordinarily, he's gloomy for various reasons, but this time it's just he hates this dick. And Aiden just walks straight up, shoulder barges the guy to the side. So the side of Aiden that you don't normally see, he completely poindexes this guy into the wall and walks forward, firing this silent pistol. Just um, only he can hear it, and walking into the darkness, completely confident, as if it wasn't dark. And you guys follow. You pick your way back through this mass, this strange labyrinthine puzzle of rushing and juddering pipes, and get back to where the lift is. And calls the lift, presses the button, and you can hear this thing coming down. This thing is not. It's mechanical. It's strong, but it's not elegant. It was quite loud when you were coming down in it as well. The lift gets to the bottom, and this strange little symbol turns from red to green, and it's just a sigil. It's like an arcane sigil. The doors open up, and sitting there quite neatly in the middle of the lift is a human head, severed from the body. It has a salt and pepper it's a male head, salt and pepper hair, in kind of a mullet, and a kind of Kitchener type moustache with beard, that has been laid out very neatly so that the beard kind of flows out on the floor, and it's clear that the head is severed from just under the chin. And immediately Abe goes, "Ah! Ah! Ah! Ah!"
Dude, it's just a head.
Been a while since a severed head.
Yeah, it's. I mean, usually it's every other week in Ostergold, but you know they've been slowing down there as well.
It's
And I pick it up, and I just sort of take it out of the lift and put it on the side.
Is there someone you know?
I would assume so.
yes,
Yeah, the reaction.
it's Jacob Moss. He's our head of security.
Oh.
Ah.
Hmm.
Not so
that
good at
seems to
security now, though.
Is this the
Do you
same lift we
know
came
any
down in,
other-
out of interest?
It is.
They're giving us a
Um,
sign.
Yeah.
Question:
They
how
are.
many staff were in this place?
I was gonna say, how many do you think are still alive, or is
Oh,
most
God.
people dead?
Oh, probably none.
I'm
Yeah.
Well, except this dude, and well,
the last
we'll
alive.
see for how long.
How many staff, dude?
Oh, around 60.
60.
Yeah.
How fast can you do burial rites for 60 people without actually burying them?
Oh no, I'll do that once I'm somewhere a lot safer.
Okay, good.
I mean, if you and I tear out a couple of pages. I mean, I don't know how long the
Shut
the
up!
ride is, but you should
No.
start writing their names.
Shut up!
Well, at least you stop talking about dying. I mean, sometimes being ghoulish is as effective as being tender. Everybody knows it.
Let's just get on with this.
Farewell.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of pull him aside just a little, and I'm trying to whisper, like, can you talk to people afterwards and stuff? Is it useful to take him and ask him some questions after the event we have ahead?
Oh, yeah, of course I can do that. Would you like me to do that?
I mean, his security, maybe.
Sure. Okay.
Bury
I
him
mean,
somewhere.
we will. I'll be honest with you. We'll have to stay on top of it because I don't have a bag of cold. And in the bag of wonder, he will go gooey. After a while. So, unless got any cloths? You got a cloth strip?
Just tears it off her clothes. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Crop top.
And
That's the point where you tear your clothes, give him the strip, he goes, it's the wrong colour.
and because it only
I
takes
do have my stuff.
because it only takes 6 seconds, I pick up the head and I reach into my pouch and I take a little sprinkle of salt and I sprinkle salt on each eye and I place a copper piece on each eye and I wrap them in place tightly with the piece of cloth that Cora gave me. And I cast a gentle repose as a ritual spell.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sure. Takes you a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, he's good for 10 days. He won't decay or anything, and I put it in my bag of holding.
Interestingly,
It's just a head.
so Nick, 2 things now that you've got up close and personal with the head, other than just picking it up from the hair at arm's length. As you're doing this, you notice that there's no blood in the head anymore, and so it's been completely drained, which is one of the eerie things about the head in the lift, is that the lift was perfectly clean, just a head. And you notice that it wasn't a clean cut that cut off the head. It was some sort of blast that took it off.
Right.
Slightly concerning.
Okay.
Let's go into death.
You enter the lift,
Happy
and Abe kind of puts his hand over some of the buttons and presses only the one that goes back up to the top. And he says, this goes past some of the storage levels. I don't recommend going in there. They seem to have made some sort of hive in there for some of the less controllable demons. Some of these are...
Do you mean the ones with the tongues and the detachable little like parasites?
He looks at you with a look of absolute horror, as if to say, what are you on about? And he goes, they are...
Yeah, we ran into those on the way down. They were pretty mean.
They're
I
incomplete
had to burn
works.
Eclipse.
That's what he calls them. Incomplete. He calls them his clay, his material.
Who's he?
Yeah, why does everybody play the pronoun game in this organization? I mean, it's...
And he looks
so
at you
frustrating.
kind of guilty and goes, you must have heard him.
No.
You mean the guy in
The
the head?
master you're talking about, like they've referenced one. But
The one that talked in my head once.
I
Yes.
thought that was the monster that was slashing us.
yeah, we killed that one.
Yeah, we killed that one.
Or was it the one that talked to you
No,
after
we-
we killed that one? Because
Yes,
you heard
we
another
heard-
voice, didn't you?
Yes, we heard another
Oh.
voice, and that's the master. What is his name, or is it just the master?
They call him a number of things. The creator, the architect, the shaper. He doesn't really have a name that he allows to be spoken by his creations. They refer to him only in adjective, largely because there's power in names. So I presume he has one,
Very
but
true.
they only refer to him in titles.
I suggest we name him Bob, so we don't have to play the pronoun game either.
Yeah,
So-
I think he does sound like a Bob, doesn't he, Eclipse?
Yes. So Bob, we don't want to fight Bob, is what you're saying.
Let's just blow
Abe
him up.
doesn't even justify it with a response. He looks even sicker, actually. He looks incredibly pale, incredibly sick, and he just looks at the wall, and he's keeping away from the cage side of the lift. And sure enough, you can hear this as they're responding to the lift going past. And he says, "Stay away. They might spit acid or try to use some sort of arcane effect through the cage."
Or parasites.
Indeed.
I kind of hold up my shield and sort of take a more sort of protective position where I can try and
I
block
hide.
as much as I can.
Acid doesn't bother me, but I still stand behind Farewell because I don't want to get hit by that parasite thing.
For someone who's been hiding in a freaking tank, how do you know so much about where all the demons are?
I had to get here in the first place, didn't I? I was running around this facility fighting with one of the attack groups, including for Jacob. Before this all went down, I heard the reports that he was being told as we were going around. And he was saying things like, "They've taken the storage area," so on. So, but then
Yeah, but
also,
it's knowing that there's them in the storage area, and there's knowing that they're putting specific creatures in the storage area and things like that.
I won't even get you to do an insight roll. He looks guilty as fuck.
Yeah.
Would you like to be
So-
honest with us now, or would you like my lives to become more physical?
He likes to speak to me. He'll start to speak to you. He gloats. He likes to talk about his work. It's important for him to be recognized, to be known, to be feared
bit
and
for-
recognized. He kept telling me that he was filling this facility with great works, his works of art, that how doomed I was. It seemed to be some sort of broadcast. He couldn't speak to me directly, so it was a kind of telepathic broadcast, so that wherever I was in the facility, I knew I was there somewhere.
Can I do an insight check or something to try and determine whether I think this guy is maybe controlled by this person, and this is all like he's only alive because he's doing some sort of task or he's leading us somewhere?
Give me a roll.
Ooh, is he beguiled or bewitched?
Yeah. It's like dealing with.
If you
another
think it's a
accident.
big concern, I could spend a spell slot on detect thoughts, but I would run in an odd point.
I would rather be
How important
well.
is this role?
That is the question you need to
Don't you
answer
still
for
have
us.
your inspiration?
I have an inspiration from the DM that's been there, sitting there in my D&D Beyond since I started the D&D Beyond, I think.
So
Right then.
use
So
it.
there's never a better time to
I mean,
use it than right now.
I rolled a 5, but I just
Use
I
it.
don't know.
Use it.
Why
Use it.
not?
I'm gonna use my inspiration. I
Go
don't
ahead.
I don't trust this guy at all. But I don't know what the this role is gonna do for me. Okay, that bounced off a 19 to a 1, but I'm a fucking halfling. Come on.
Roll again!
Oh, the power of the
Yay!
halfling.
I rolled a 2. A fucking
Oh.
Okay,
Okay,
you
well,
need new dice.
the 5
You need new
plus
dice.
3 would have been better.
And it gives you
Well,
advantage,
you-
so the 5 is
so
what you
that's an
take.
So the
Okay,
5,
well, and
you'll use the 5. Yeah.
fine. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
Still shitty.
Uh,
Chorus was not.
You've heard the phrase before. It's one of Matt's favourite phrases. Hard to read. I will give you the flavour of hard to read, though, because I do like the fact that you're probing him. Hard to read because he seems to be in a wild, desperate, kind of a changeable state. You think that his mind is kind of flashing in different directions. That it's just chaotic in his mind. So it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to
I
read him because
don't
he
know,
doesn't seem
but
focused
I'm
on
still
one thing.
suspicious.
Yeah.
Like he's the only survivor, and he's already and we all know they talk to him. Even if he's not being controlled, he's being influenced.
He's a
and
survivor. He
he's
must be guilty.
desperate. Well, no, but he's desperate. He's a cornered animal. He's desperate, and if he's given a way out by a crazy creature, he might take it.
That I'll give you. Cornered animal is exactly what he is.
I would like to, while we're in this lift, because I'm really trying to pay attention to him, even though I'm like looking up at him probably. I just want to see what he's wearing, what he has, and just sort of like kind of try and make note of what he has. I'm assuming he's got a wand of some kind.
Yep, he's
But
clutching. He's
has he got
clutching his
other
wand
things?
for dear life. So yeah, he has a wand. He seems to have some sort of arcane device at his left hip. Are you proficient in Arcana?
Not proficient, no.
No. Okay.
In fact, no. I'm
Weird
intelligence
doohickey.
0, so nope.
Yeah, weird doohickey. And as for the rest, he's wearing trousers, a shirt, kind of like a office clerk type affair, and then around his shoulders, spilling down like a 3/4 length car coat, is a form of wizard robe. And he's got a sash at his belt, which denotes where he learnt his craft, which is the Ostergald University. You can see that there's a couple of badges on there that you very much recognize. And he also has certain symbols that have been added, like a kind of addition to his collar, like an epaulet, but instead of on the shoulders, it's on the collar. And
Scout badges.
in this case, denoting his mastery. And yeah, you know that these badges mean something. If you were to ask Glory, Glory would be able to get without even doing a roll. But the badges basically point out that he is a master of force shaping and shield mage proficiency. So yeah, that's what he can do. He's a master of abjuration mage, but he's a master of abjuration mage in the non-hero sense, in that it's all he does. He knows a few kind of combat spells because that's standard training, but whereas a player character wizard would learn a bunch of shit on top of force shaping, he can shape force in ways that other people. The other thing as well, now that you're looking, is that on the small of his back, there is a kind of like I guess a cross between a leather satchel and a bum bag. So he's got this little kind of leather bag just over his butt. And looking at how square it is, you have a feeling it's his spellbook.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
So, plan. Go to powder plant. Avoid Bob. Do things in powder plant. Teleport
Blow
away.
this
Win.
place up.
Yeah,
Okay.
teleport away. Win.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Make it sound so simple. So this facility, now that you're in this this lift, and you have enough time to look around, there is a small diagram. You were kind of concentrating on things with weird tongues before, but there is a diagram that now he said it's kind of spider shaped. You are drawn to, and there seems to be small writing. Any of you who get close enough to it will find that it shows the layout of the facility. It's not that this lift goes to all of the different places. It's kind of like a little bit of a map. And now that you know to look for it, it says in small diagrammatical handwriting what all the lifts are. So you can see all the different shafts and things coming off the main floor level. And what it is that the main floor level kind of fans out, and then you've got lifts going up and down at various points in the fan that then go out in 3D. Some of them go up because you came down in the first place, but not many of them, and they don't go far up. It seems to just be offices up there, and by offices I mean like private offices. They seem to be for various researchers. This lift doesn't go up; it only goes down from the main floor. The others, they do go down, and the one that goes down the furthest into this underground cave is the power plant. So it is the longest of the lifts. By the way, whilst you're looking at this, there are things attacking the fence section. You haven't managed to get one of the ones with the tongues yet, but there's one that's just covered in spines. It's like this cross between a demon and a porcupine, and as it comes up to you, it kind of bristles. The spines lift up on its body, and it starts to shake. And just as your the lift is just passing, in the few inches that's left, there's this sudden and two spines just come out and hit. But instead of hitting you, they just kind of skitter across the floor. And there's these two little needles that have this kind of foul smelling. It smells like rotten egg smell, ichor that is coming off the tips of these things. And you can tell that these spines are actually hollow, and they've got a straw-colored fluid inside that's making this horrible, horrible smell. So that's one of the floors that this lift has just gone past. And yeah, so looking at this diagram, you can see that there are a number of manufactories. Okay, so there are 5 manufactories. And if you're looking at it, A points out the manufactory 4 was the one where they got in. They are all on a level that you have to go down a particular lift to go to the laboratories. They're interchangeably called laboratories and manufactories. The manufactory is the specific type of laboratory they are. There's a few other laboratories where they're just testing the weapons that they're making from it as well, but they're all off the armory. So the manufactory is a laboratory where they mine the residuum, they harvest the residuum from the demons, and then there are armory laboratories as well, which is off the armory block, which you saw the door for on the main floor. There's administration, which you walk past because that's where you're supposed to get the damn punch card, but you decided to bake it up with a strip of ice, so you went straight past that one. Then there's a lift that goes down to the various storage areas. Those are so big, more than one lift goes there, and your lift can go there as well. So that's the kind of the little control panel that we talked about before. There was a main button that went down to the plant room, but now that you look at it, there's kind of other little dials and switches that are smaller than that, where you can force it to stop at certain places, and then you would have to kind of open up the cage manually. You have a feeling that this place, when it was built, they used these 2 shafts to mine down into various areas for them to make the facility. So it's a little bit roughshod. So this lift specifically goes down to the plant room, but it has been used for other things in the past, and then they've just disabled those functions. After that, there's dormitories. There's there's like a recreation center. There's kitchens. All the things that would keep these guys in relative comfort. And as part of the entertainment area, there's effectively a gym. Because there's a lot of arcanists here, there's a spell range as well. And you have a feeling that they made themselves, as much as is capable, a pretty good life down here. There's even a bar that you can see from here. Other than that, it's
Very
just
different.
manufactory, some personal laboratories, personal studies, the armory, storage levels. There's the kind of receiving bay, the loading bay that you guys came in to. And then there's a small kind of security office, and what seems to be like a few holding cells, and kind of a barracks. So it's a bunch of living areas that are just for the security staff that, and presumably Jacob and his security staff were from. Okay. So the lift keeps trundling up, and I'm going to roll to see which lucky occupants of the next floor come up to the cage. Ooh, fun. Okay. So
No, no,
No.
stepping out from the darkness as as the 2 cage meshes go past each other on one particular floor, okay, let's describe this properly. What would be a shapely naked woman walks into what little light spills out of your lift into the storage floor. However, she would be a shapely, naked woman if it wasn't for the fact that her flesh seems to be melting off her body. Literally,
Ah.
parts of her cheeks seem to be dripping off her jaw. Her hair, which presumably is supposed to start at her brow, starts about the top of her head, and you can see that some of it is coming out of her neck. Her
Yeah.
her eyes, I've got kind of like the, I can't remember, is it a basset hound? Where they've got the kind of droopy eyes. So she's got these droopy eyes, and everything, including her nose. Her nose has kind of got like, it looks like a tent. It's, instead of stopping here, flaps kind of come down to here. It seems like the musculature of her body is in the right shape for her to be, as I say, a shapely and comely woman. But
Uh-huh.
the skin just doesn't seem to work. And you can see by these crazed eyes that don't have any pupils, they're just two white orbs, that she's clearly one of the architect's pieces of clay, was literally, to look at her. She walks up to the cage as your two cage doors are passing, and in what would normally be quite a seductive voice, she just starts to babble and babble and babble.
Silence! Silence spell!
She went first, so you guys have got to do the save first. I would like you all to do charisma saving.
I'm good at that. That's fine.
So am I. What a surprise.
I'm not. Oh, I'm
25.
better than. Oh, I'm better than I did. He doesn't have proficiency in it.
Oh, what do you mean proficiency in charisma?
Charisma saving throw.
Oh yeah,
It
right. I'm
is-
looking in the wrong place. Oh, that's better.
I believe this or not, and I'm so grateful that I actually have proficiency in Christmas saving throws. It is a 20 for farewell,
Oh wow!
and it is a 14 for Aiden.
Okay.
Not
Not
bad.
bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Fair. Okay, so that's good to know. Felicia,
25.
25. Nice. Corinne.
15.
Kate.
13.
Ooh.
That's a dangerous one.
You'll be pleased to know, Kate, that you hit the DC on the nose.
Oh.
No, it was a saving throw and not the other. I rolled a 5.
So you guys hear this babbling, and your skin starts to itch. You don't know why, but you feel like you're kind of coming down with a bit of dermatitis. Just, I don't know, maybe you've been out in a field with pollen a bit too much and all the rest of it. And that's where you start hearing this hyperventilation of effort. And
I feel a lot taking over me.
you watch as Abe, taking the tip of his wand, starts gouging into the skin of his face, and he starts self-mutilating. And
I grab hold of him. I'll restrain him.
yeah, sure. In that case, do a. I'll roll for him. Do me a athletics check.
Grapple, I assume.
Yeah, for grapple.
21.
21. So you grab hold of him, and the first stage of grapple is to actually get around him in the first place. You get around him as he's gouging this. His wand is a steel wand. What's called a steel. Stele. And a lot of artificers tend to use this, and he's clearly in the presence of artificers, so he's got a kind of good kind of length of wand. And he's gouging into his face. You have a feeling he's probably done around about 6 points of damage to himself at the moment. Blood's flowing freely down his face. And so the first attack on himself, you grapple him. And then I'm not going to do initiative for this, but just give me one more roll. This is the overpower roll.
Eclipse will help if that does anything.
Yeah, have advantage, Nick. And
Thank you.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, Aiden, he does not have a lot of.
And I'm so grateful you gave me advantage because that's a nat 20.
nice.
Oh,
And that's a total of 23.
23, yeah. He manages to do another 3 points of damage to his face at this point. And the thing is, this thing isn't sharp. And yet with all of his strength, he's just gouged it into his skin and kind of almost poked it under the skin, drawing it down. It's really disturbing to see. But hey, demons, hey. And there's blood flowing freely down his face. He's done himself a total of 9 points of damage. But at that point, you manage to get both of your arms over his shoulders, hook them under his armpits, and then you've got his arms behind his back. This guy is going nowhere. You've done a full overpower on him, and the only thing he tries to do, but you see it in time and pull him back, is he tries to smash his face against the side of the lift, and you do notice that as you've got your hands behind his back, you kind of expect him to almost attack you, but he isn't. Instead, he seems to be kind of raking at his clothing with his fingernails now because he's dropped the wand. He's trying to scratch his skin through his clothing. And you do notice that one of his legs, you know how people, you if you've got an itch on your leg, you use one foot to scratch the opposite leg. He's doing that, but he's doing it so hard, it's almost like he's trying to peel his skin off his shin with his other foot. But he's not succeeding. You're fine. All he's doing is giving himself a little bit of a kind of a friction burn, which he's not going to be able to do any serious damage to himself there. And you're just kind of you can kind of press him against the wall, and you've got control of the situation now. This is more flavor to tell you what he's trying to do, rather than getting him to keep doing stuff after you've overpowered him. Just to add extra information for you. And the other thing you've noticed, that once you grabbed hold of him, he did start speaking to you to protest, but it's in the same babble as the creature.
Yeah, I'm just going to push him against the wall.
This happens for another 2 rounds, and then he just stares into space and starts hyperventilating, and he's still not speaking, but he's calm and he stopped this destructive behavior.
Are you back?
Give me a persuasion check, please. Eclipse?
Yep. Can do that. Double proficiency then, actually. So 15. I rolled 6.
Sure. With a 15, that's enough. He looks you in the eye just for a second, starts to nod. He nods yes, as if to say he's back, and then starts to weep uncontrollably.
Aww.
Should we fix his face? Or wait? He might need your spell slots. Farewell. Oh, I got a healing potion. I'll give him my healing potion.
He doesn't take it.
Got a lot of healing
I
potions.
grab it and I give it back to her. I'm like, he's fine.
He wouldn't receive it anyway. He's just staring into space.
He
I have
just
no
looks so
desire.
messy.
I have no desire to be cruel, but the danger is too close,
We might need them.
and I can fix him later.
Did you know her?
Not a good question to ask.
You're just staring at the wall now.
Mhm.
You too, huh?
I am
Okay.
embracing the atmosphere of this creepy, grim, dark
These
place.
are the slowest lifts in the world. We could have walked up the wall quicker.
Oh,
Oh
this
yeah,
this
would
is
have been
slowed
so
down.
much easier to just
It's
I mean,
taking the
fly.
same time. We've stopped for dramatic effect. So you go
It's
past.
like a
I,
loading screen. It's a loading screen left, so you're just
Oh
in
my-
it as long as it takes for a computer to
oh
load.
no, it's the Mass Effect lifts.
Yes.
Oh god.
But a bit more adventure.
Nick, take inspiration. Yes, it's the Mass Effect lift.
Hey, it was my idea.
So,
Sure. He will need that inspiration trying to save us all.
Or
so
just himself.
That
I
too.
will let go of him. I will let him go.
he slumps to the floor, otherwise defeated. He seems to be functional. If you ask him if he's still okay to take you there, he will nod to that. But this is a guy who's resigned himself to death.
Okay.
Yeah, his will seems completely broken. There's no insight checks required for this. There's only one more storage floor that needs to go before you reach the main floor. And as you do so, there's a demon stood there, and
Nothing happens.
it seems to be a fairly standard demon. It has it seems to be this huge, very large, kind of obese character. If it was a humanoid creature, you would
Simon?
think it's yeah.
There was. I just had a thought.
Mhm.
That incoherent babble wouldn't happen to have been abyssal.
No, it's not. It wasn't a language at all. It was a curse.
Okay, good. That was what I was worried about.
Yeah, it was her
If we were-
effect. Kind
Because I
of
was pretty sure
the
that
same
at
language
least
as a
one of us
gibbering
knew
mouth.
that.
Yeah, I took
I
it from
think
Yeah.
Farewell also knows it.
Farewell does know Abyssal, yeah.
Yeah, and you know
Yeah.
that wasn't it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
So
to Glory. So.
as you go past, there's this demon. If this was a regular humanoid, you would just think that this creature is morbidly obese. We're talking that the thighs and stomach of this creature almost obscure the feet. Where there should be a face on the head is big, kind of jowly head, almost looking like a mushroom. There is instead just a single mouth that goes around about the center of the head. No eyes. And it's standing there. It's just neatly standing there, and it actually has its arms folded as if it's waiting for you. And as the light spills from the lift through the mesh, as your lift kind of chugs past it, the mouth in the center of the head opens up with needle-like teeth about an inch long, and probably about as wide as a thorn. And as you see these teeth, there seems to be something glistening inside, presumably its tongue, and then it opens fully, and it's a
Pressed up against the wall, by the way.
yeah,
Yes.
it's a single eye. And at that point, a fold of fat in this large, grotesque stomach opens up, and you can see more of these teeth, larger now, but still kind of like a thorn proportion. Whereas the thorns in the eye, the teeth on the eye, is about an inch long. These are around about 2.5 inches long. It opens up, and you can see that the entire stomach is prehensile because the mouth, as it opens, also comes forward. And as you're waiting for whatever attack, and you're there thinking, can this large mouth get through the tiny gaps in this mesh? It opens its mouth and then speaks. It says,
Oh,
How
Of
very
course it does.
sweet of you.
oh no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Put it back.
And in this kind of belching, blubbering voice, it goes, "Welcome. Enjoy the game." And it's just stood there, this creature with its arms, again, it's kind of bingo winged, but huge bingo winged arms, covered over the what would be the upper chest of this thing, and it just says that one thing. It just belches out, "Welcome to the game," and the lift carries on going, and it just watches you, just this one eye in the center of the head, flanked by teeth either side, watching you as you go up. And just as the mesh is going, and you've only got about 2 or 3 inches left, and you're kind of watching and waiting to see if there is an attack from this thing, it just turns around and walks back into the dark.
Snipe, I'm pretty sure this is something that Simon has come up with, but the description does remind me of a brood mother from Dragon Age Origins.
Something
Except
Without
it
the
didn't.
teeth. Without the
It
teeth.
didn't have 6 boobs. It didn't have six
Ah,
boobs.
That is
so
true.
that's probably not one.
Note to
Simon is
self.
definitely channeling his inner chaos gods.
Yes.
How much further do we have on this
That was
infernal
that was the last floor. You're about to go up and enjoy all the delights of whatever it is they've clearly set up
This
for
is
you.
not the type
So-
of game I like to play.
It
So
is.
is this where we take a cliffhanger break?
It is indeed.
Yes.
It's 9:30, and we will see you guys after the break.
See you guys
Oh.
soon.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Welcome back, everybody. And when we left off, we had our players going up a nice, gentle lift. I've got 2 farewells. Oh, there we go. There you go. I have. How did you guys do that? You managed to jump into each other's window. That's incredibly weird.
We're close friends.
We are so besties. I mean, oh my god.
Seriously, that was
Yes,
weird. You
it's
jumped into
dread.
each other's. Oh god. Okay. Technology. Love technology. Anyway, right. So yes, you were going in an elevator with lovely elevator music
Flowers and rainbows and unicorns
people
and nothing
gouging
else.
their face. So
Oh dear.
the doors open, and you recognize most of the scene in front of you. It's the loading
Oh.
bay. It's the loading bay that you originally used the punch card made of ice to get into this this place, into the lift in the first place. You kind of expected there'd be something here waiting for you. And although you can't see the entire loading bay from here, as the doors open, there's no sensation of movement. Doesn't seem to be anything here. It's quiet. There's a slight susurrus now that you step out of the lift. But it's very far away, like it's echoing down corridors, off many walls. Occasionally, could it be a laugh, a scream, a bellow maybe, from something feral and animalistic? Every now and again, just something that just comes out of this low level, let's say, susurrus here. But you have a feeling that wherever the origin is, it's a full-blown cacophony. You step into the room proper, on your guard, and Abe at this point is just walking out dead features. His face just about starting to congeal, the blood's just slowing down. And he's...
I honestly don't hide of blood loss. Blood loss is not a thing in
Blood loss is
D&D.
not a thing in D&D. Blood doesn't work that way in D&D.
He wasn't
think
bleeding
we
that
can-
much. He said he did 6 points of damage, right? Or I mean, is he...
9 points of damage. His face is a bloody mess,
I
but he's
think
not going to
we
bleed.
can we can safely say without going into it that Farewell's not the type of person, no matter how abhorrent he finds him, to let him just bleed out in front
Yeah.
of him.
And
Farewell
there are
knows
ways
it's...
to, like, you know, you could stick a piece of cloth on a wound. You don't have to give
I
a
have a
healing
healer's.
potion.
I have a healer's kit. I would have used
Exactly.
a necessity charge to
Yeah.
ensure that he was fit and ready to help fight.
It's
so.
cosmetic, literally. It's all he's done is disfigure himself. You step into the into the loading bay, and Abe is walking forward with sluggish, drawn footsteps, almost like he's possessed in some way. And you quickly check to make sure he's not, and he isn't. He's just beaten, completely beaten.
Look, I know this is hard for you, but you need to walk and act a little bit more together. Otherwise, you're just not going to get yourself killed. You're going to get all of us killed, and we're not going to do this. I need you to be in this moment and not where else you are.
Completely compliant, he picks up his wand and continues on into the loading bay.
Boy.
It's
Just Simon, just because I know that these are demons and abyssals, but just because it's a comfort thing, I am going to use Eyes of the Grave.
sure.
So it tells me if there's any undead within 60 feet, as long as it's not behind total cover and isn't protected from divination magic for
Okay.
the next 6 seconds.
Sure. I'll tell you if any undead turn up.
Cool. Thank you.
Ooh.
Guys, what's to stop all these things leaving? Did we close the door?
Yes. Yes.
Did
you
we? Like, we
Yes.
didn't lock it though. Like,
we-
why
do-
have they not left? Why are they still here? There's
The
nothing to
door
stop them.
appears to be shut still. And at this point, I would like to ask, how many of you are proficient in religion?
I am.
Does the religion involve
Oh,
acid?
both Aiden and I are proficient in religion.
Good. Do a roll for both of you.
Oh, that is terrible rolls. So it's a 9 for Farewell and an 8 for Aiden. Aiden rolled a 4.
Oh, Nick.
When
You-
the
you-
cleric fails religion.
Oh. Is it my birthday? No, my birthday was last month, dude.
Yeah, but my passive perception is like 20 and my passive insight is 18 and my passive investigation is also 18.
You see it. You definitely see it, Farewell. You just too late realize what it is. So
Shit.
you look over to the slaughtered cleric that you saw, not cleric, slaughtered clerk that you saw at the beginning when you first came in here. The place was a little bit bloody, a little bit of a mess, but the blood seems to have been smeared, and too late. Too late, Farewell. You saw it, and just as you recognize what it is, you can feel the words just gathering up in your throat.
Oh no! What is
But as you do so, you realize it's too late. Everybody's seen it. You've seen it. And there's a
Oh no! I know what this is.
Then
Then
shut up and let me do it.
Yes.
A spiral smeared in the blood of the fallen clerk. A spiral with jagged lines coming out of it. And you recognize it, Farewell. Just as I say, too late. You've been trained about the mark of Tharazun. The chained god. The god of madness that resides within the abyss amongst all the demons. And you've seen it. And you know that everybody else has too. I would like everybody please to do a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, good. I'm all right at these ones.
Yeah, I'm all right,
You
Jack.
are.
Yeah.
How very fucking Slaneshi of you, you bastard. Oh, boy. Oh,
I have no
boy.
dice that like me today.
Okay. So let's see how you go. I know what poor Abe has just rolled. I would like to know yours first, Kate.
10.
10. Good to know. In that case, Kate.
Okay, so we need to roll higher than a 10.
No, it's tiered. It's tiered. It's about how much you fail. You get different things.
Cora slumps down on the floor, completely unconscious. Not 0 hit points, but a faint. Just faints.
I had that one. I've had.
Kate, I would like
Sorry.
you to do. Thankfully, you have a background that is relevant to this. I would like you to do a charisma check with proficiency. So this by the way, is your spellcasting roll. So give me your spellcasting roll.
16.
Good.
I cannot roll higher than a 10. It's just like
Good.
awful.
Good,
I'm
that's all
trying
you
every
said.
dice.
So, Kate, you fall completely unconscious, a dead faint. And whatever these guys are going to be having, they may watch as this happens. But then something kicks off. Instead of hitting the floor and just going into complete unconsciousness, this moment of madness and dreaming and abandon has a strange effect. And as you hit the floor, you can feel everything fading to black as your face gets closer and closer and closer to the concrete. And then the concrete feels like you're falling headfirst into blossoms. And the blossoms just fly up in the air as you're there going, pretty sure this isn't what it's supposed to do, because it felt really bad up until this point. And you feel this lovely sensation on your cheeks, Cora. Like satin sheets, but you've never felt satin. Well, up until joining the Green Organization, you hadn't felt satin at all, apart from if it was in a shipment. But you've since got a little bit accustomed to the finer things in life. And these are just, it's almost like it's stroking your skin. This is the best. The absolute best. And you kind of pull your head away, and the concrete's gone, and Farewell's gone, and Glory's gone, and Eclipse is gone. Everything's gone. You're in a beautiful bedroom. It's amazing. I mean, the art on the walls of vibrant colours just assaulting your senses. You haven't seen this type of thing before. Even in Renata's chambers, there's just nothing this colourful before. The sheets are this beautiful terracotta, and it's a 4-poster bed with this lovely red. No, that's not mahogany, but it's a red wood. Kind of almost like it's almost on fire. And you look around, and there's gold leaf on all of the sconcing, and you can see that this lovely, great big tapestry in front of you has a depicting a battle. One side full of reds and oranges and yellows, and there's this crowned, presumably male figure, very elegant. You're not entirely sure, standing proud, pointing the sword in the direction of a woman. Very definitely a woman in a long, flowing, midnight blue gown. Her skin alabaster white, again looking very elegant. And she's pointing back at him a wand, crystal tipped. And behind her there are similar soldiers' forces, all in light blues and dark blues, and the occasional kind of aquamarine. And they're facing each other in what is clearly a tapestry depiction of this huge, huge battle. And looking around you, there's only a few things that you could probably pick out immediately. You think you're in a woman's bedroom, and then you see on the bedside table a shard of a broken object, and immediately you recognize it as a shard from your music box. Moving on to everybody else. As far as you're concerned, Cora is lying down on the floor. Cora is in mind somewhere else, in body right in front of you, hitting the deck. Next, I would like to find is Corinne.
Come on, Eclair.
14.
14. Good to know.
Come on.
What do I get, Simon?
Hey, Eclipse, nothing's wrong. Absolutely nothing's wrong. You're here to help. You're here to help. you're waiting for people to tell you what needs to be done. You're chipper, you're eager, and you're ready to go. For the next 5 minutes, you'll obey any command as long as it's not self-destructive.
Shit. Oh, this is going well.
Farewell.
So,
Yeah.
how many minutes is Cora out for, by the way, Simon?
Cora's out for 10. You're obedient for 5. Nick, what was yours? Sorry, Farewell, what was yours?
27.
27. You recognize it. You steel yourself in time. You're glaring at this thing and calling on every connection with your divine affiliation, and suddenly you just feel the zealotous need to destroy the sign. And at 27, you throw your hand out and
Sacred flame.
use Sacred Flame, and you burn that shit off the wall. It's gone.
Oh, shit.
What did Aiden get?
Question. Since you're doing this in order, please tell me he destroys it before it gets to me and Aiden.
No, you've all seen it.
Fuck.
It's all touched you.
Fuck.
Aiden's is a 17.
17.
Oh, that's good.
Nice. Yeah. Aiden, in that case...
I'm so glad I swapped
Okay.
dice for that roll.
So he's only affected for about 30 seconds, so only 5 rounds. He spends 5 rounds in a moment of absolute rage, screaming at it. He recognizes it too. And where your reaction was to just kind of steel yourself, he hasn't got that divine connection. What he has got is a ton of power in his blood. And you can see as his eyes turn jet black and he just screams. If he was in battle, this would be a problem, but thankfully it's not. And he's just there, just straight into the face of this thing. And when you blow the shit up, he does scream for a little bit longer for good effect. But after that, he's just like... he got the lowest effect, and he got a cap on what he could have got, and also he got half of the time. So he only rolled 1 minute, which was halved. He dealt with it well.
Oh.
Now, Glory, what have you rolled, dear?
Yeah, what have you done,
Are you sure
Glory?
it's not your birthday, Simon?
What did you do?
Is that- I rolled a nat 1.
Oh no!
Oh,
Okay, let's go to that table.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You get another character flaw.
Yeah. So it goes short-term madness, long-term madness, indefinite madness, and you rolled a 1. So
It can be cured with a greater restoration.
Meta.
Glory,
Mm-hmm.
they're after you, Glory.
Mm-hmm.
They're out there. You don't know what they look like, and you don't know who are agents of them, but they're out there. You have paranoia. I'll read out straight from the table. I'm convinced that powerful enemies are hunting me. Not entirely different to your backstory. But, however, the difference is their agents are everywhere I go. I'm sure they're watching me all of the time. Whenever you're introduced to a new person, I roll to see whether or not you suspect them to be evil agents who are out to kill you.
Would they be evil or good?
Well, any enemy agents, let's say, out to kill you. Okay?
Okay.
You
Yeah,
see enemies everywhere. And at this point, I want to see if you have a revelation. Glory, do an insight check on Abe.
Oof. Insight check. Well, that dice goes to in the bad place.
The bad place.
Insight. 19.
19, yeah, you're pretty sure that Abe is too pathetic to be an agent. You're cool.
Mm.
Yeah, you're cool. You're cool. You think he's an idiot, but you're sure he's not one of them.
Mm. Mm.
Right. This is the first time we had a long-term madness.
And it's an indefinite madness. Is the first time I've ever given one out. Abe turns around and goes, "Oh my God, who are you? Who are you? What are you doing here?" And he points his wand in your direction.
Oh, I know what this is. I know, but Clips doesn't.
He has partial amnesia. He knows who he is, but he's completely forgotten everything about his experience with you guys. He took one look at the sign, and because he was kind of stood to one side from you lot,
Simon,
he looked at the sign, looked back, and
I
that's
take
it.
out the Renata Green badge with gold that he gave me, and I show him it.
Oh, thank God you're here. We're being attacked.
We know.
Yes, you.
Oh, you're the
told
rescue
us-
party. Oh God, thank you.
Yes, we are. The
Yes, we are the rescue party.
We are. The
Strangely,
rescue party.
he also forgot that he saw the gibbering seductress. So he knows that his face is all cut up, but he just thought he was attacked. Where previously he was broken, he's now no longer broken, and he's been reset to the mind state he was when you first met him. So he's like,
This is
right,
good.
we've got to do this. We've got to destroy this facility. They're down there. We've got to do this.
We already know.
Yes.
We're already on our way.
Oh,
You were
she
showing
sent
us the
professionals. Thank
way.
God. Okay,
Just
I was showing you the way.
wait.
I don't
wait,
remember.
Stop. And I go over and I'm gonna check Cora out and just I'm gonna do my usual stuff. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've just seen my best friend smack face down into
Yeah.
the floor, and
Yeah.
I know what this kind of thing does to her.
Yeah,
and
she
so
split her
that
chin.
is
It's
my
horrible.
hope.
Yeah. Let's go back to Cora then. So as you're there going, Cora, are you okay? Let's pan from you to Cora, because as you're going, Cora, are you okay? The camera's kind of going, and time works differently where she is. Cora, you sit up on the bed. Beautiful scent around you. It's warm, beautifully warm, not stifling, just on the edge of comfort. And yeah, beautiful place, fantastic.
I pick up the piece of the music box.
It's now that you pick it up, it's clearly part of the music box, and as you do so, right next to you, Eowyn appears and goes, "How did you get here?"
What? I fell over.
You notice that Eowyn is brushing what seems to be petals off her body. She's like, and you can see as these white, what seem to be water lily petals, drop from her, and she goes, I got attacked. I don't know what by. It was dark and he could see me.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah, I
I'm
died.
sorry I
It
didn't bring you
sucked.
back. Yeah, we're in the shit right now, or
But you're here.
everyone else is.
Oh God, the
Am I
others.
actually here? What do you mean? Where am I in the Feywild?
She walks up and just pokes you in the cheek and goes, oh, okay. You're mostly here. You've kind of transubstantiated. It's complicated. This is your dream body. Check for an old scar. And you kind of remember when you you check and you go, I have no scars.
Really?
And you look
Wait a
at
minute. She doesn't have her scar.
no, it's not here. Your scar's gone. You look at your hands and you remember that you cut yourself on a chest that you were taking in and out of the city at one point, and had a sharp edge. And as you picked it up, you gouged the back of your hand. Tiny little scar. I mean, it's a little kind of line here. You could barely recognize it. Only, most people wouldn't see it. You check for it there. It's not there. In fact, your skin looks good. Yeah, You've got like full spa treatment skin right now.
Oh, this is so weird. I have to go back. I can't stay here. Everyone's in the shit. There are demons.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's time moves slower here. You're in the Feywild.
Okay. So I have time to get back, or I?
You just need to wake up. It's
slower.
fine. It's fine. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. I don't know how you got
Are they
here,
here?
but who?
You know who?
Oh, hang on. I don't.
I'm gonna go to the door and open it.
You open the door, and standing in the beautiful marble corridor with those little tables they have in palaces with like fucking urns and vases and all sorts of crazy, important, expensive shit that you shouldn't put in the corridor. And you see, as you step out, as you look out there, a strange kind of elven-looking person. You quickly clock. You look like an Eladrin. Eladrin turns to you, and bright red hair, kind of like a bronze skin, bright eyes, bright green eyes, and he's standing there with what seems to be this really elegant glaive, and he's wearing a kind of elven half-plate that you immediately kind of look at and go, shit, is that mithril? And you suspect it is, and the half plate is ornamental as well. It's kind of like a flame, but made out of mithril that goes down his body in like almost an S shape. And the second you step out, he looks at you and goes, "You!" And he reaches for a belt. At which point, Eowyn flies over your shoulder and goes, "Not today, buddy." And as she flicks her hands forward, a wave of kind of like sparkling energy hits this guy, and he just goes and falls down completely unconscious in the corridor. Eowyn kind of flies in front of you elegantly, like you've never seen her have this much energy, and you notice that there's these little motes of light just cascading down from her, kind of Tinkerbell style. And she looks at her hands and goes, "Yeah, of course. Always stronger after I've died. Let's take this opportunity. She's going to be in court. There's no way we can get you there. And God, she'll be there. He'll be there." And all of a sudden, you hear in the back of your head, "And he's aware. Sorry, Cora. Can't let you remain." And you feel like you've just been slapped across the face. And as you do so, Eowyn kind of flies up to you and grabs hold of your collar. She goes, "I'm coming too." And you guys watch as suddenly Cora goes, and Eowyn is clutching to her collar. About 40 seconds have passed. Literally, Aiden has just stopped screaming.
Yeah,
Cora, your chin's a mess. It hurts like hell.
Ow.
I think I would have just been like, "Spare the dying, spare the dying, spare the dying." Why is this working?
That was weird. Probably not time to talk. Ow.
No.
Ow.
Is there
Bedroom. Weird
anything else
bedroom.
you guys
Farewell.
would like me to do?
Cora, just for something you may want to note down, Kate.
Yeah?
You're still clutching the piece of the music box.
Oh, I fucking hate this place.
Then let's blow the shitting place up.
I'll go.
Yeah. Eclipse, are you okay?
Sure, what would you like me to do?
Oh, that's a no. Well, I don't know, actually. It's just kind of often
Well,
like
no.
this.
Knowing this is not that kind of helpful, more compelled, which means she'll do anything anybody asks of her, and I mean anyone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, Okay. Is everybody else okay? Nobody else
Glory,
did what I
you're
did?
unusually quiet. Are you okay?
You're muted,
Muted.
Felicia.
Muted. Bring your mic down. Mic down.
Sorry. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Does she?
fine. Yeah.
Yep,
I think
there's
so.
no
She look-
visible
she look
change.
odd, no visible change. She's not like looking at everyone suspiciously.
No?
Looking around, but
I assume if she wants to, she'll mention, "Oh, I hope these guys do not catch up with me."
Well,
Stuff
remember
like
that
that will
there's
No,
come in
she
time.
suspects everybody.
this
She
is
suspects
Glory
us,
we're
right?
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glory
Yeah.
is Glory's always had a lot of stuff going on in the background, and for you, Glory, you're just having a moment of clarity. It's just all making sense all of a sudden. Just this,
right.
this moment of stress, this moment of yeah. So it's all falling into place, Glory.
Hmm.
It's all falling into
Okay.
place.
I help Cora back up to her feet,
Mhm.
and let's.
Okay. How do we avoid that again?
Hope I don't fuck up not seeing it again. There's
Seeing
not a
what?
lot you-
Seeing it was the problem.
Um,
What
the,
problem?
the sigils on the walls.
Yeah, what's the problem with that? Just
oh,
sigils.
they're demonic and they're terrible things, and they do weird stuff to your brain or to people.
Really? Because I feel pretty great.
Which symbol are you on about? Oh no, he doesn't know your name. What symbol are you on about, sir? Oh, by the way, I'm Abernathy. Please call me
We
Abe.
know.
Oh, okay.
Abe, sweetie, you were going to show us how to open the power room.
Yes,
We need to make sure
did I
the
tell you that
demons
already?
haven't got into it.
Did I tell you that already? Yeah, that's the only place.
Yeah.
The only way to take this down. It wasn't my idea. It was actually Jacob. He's our head of security.
Lead on.
Oh, all right. The guy
Oh.
who held the head. I did not say that, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So as you're there talking about this, you can hear these whispers coalescing around you. All part of the game. All part of the game. Enjoy the game. All part of the game. Time to play. Time to play. And all the lights in the loading bay go out. Now,
Cora's
I need to put on my music.
torch out.
So it's not magical darkness.
Okay.
It's not magical darkness. Those of you who already have lights out, for example, Abernathy's robe is still shining with the light spell he threw on it. So Abernathy is like a standing torch. You can see, but then you can see on the edge of his light spell that there seems to be shadows moving at a distance. This is quite a large loading bay, and just every now and again you get a slight sensation that these shadows are moving. And at that point, I'd like you all to roll initiative.
Simon, you are terrible. I hate you. Has it gone 5 minutes, by the way, Simon?
Oh God no. No, you are still under it. I will tell you when your various effects have gone off. Depending on what the madness was on Kate, she wouldn't have got the save. Where I was like, oh my God, she went unconscious. She's in the dreaming. Oh my God, that's the Feywild. So yeah, she's just dipped straight into the Feywild.
She just said nope.
Yeah, I mean that was the role she had. I mean, in the combat that would have been disgusting. 10 minutes of compulsory unconsciousness. That's killed characters before. Thankfully, we weren't in combat at that point.
Okay.
Okay, so top of the round. Top of the list I've got here on Campaign Lab, Eclipse.
19.
Nice. Glory.
6.
Cora.
14.
Aiden.
16.
Farewell.
15.
Not bad, not bad. Let's do this. The shadows twist and turn, and you notice that some of them, when they turn your way, you can almost see like a pair of eyes in the shadows. They're very difficult to see. They're considered to be hiding at all times as long as they're in shadow. And
Oh,
so
you mean like the little guy? Nice.
the little guy?
Glory's familiar.
Oh yeah, yeah, very familiar. Yeah, you've got your shadow wormling around your shoulders. Looks very similar to that. The eyes aren't kind of a dull burning purple like his, but you're getting a definite vibe. A definite vibe.
Yeah.
And they go first. So
Really?
Sorry, quick question for you, Simon. As they come forward, does Aiden go into the hunt?
Aiden, what makes him go into the hunt? It's undead, isn't it?
Well, I
Uh,
think it's
I-
you who decided.
It was, yeah, it's been pretty much so far you that's decided, because
Let me check.
well, the last couple of times was undead, but they were Frankenstein-esque monsters. I don't know enough of his backstory if he's homebrewed something.
Yeah, I think
no,
the
no, he
hunt
doesn't.
it's a homebrew thing. It's not.
He
not a blood hunter.
Yeah, he doesn't go into the hunt. But you do see as Aiden steals himself, it's almost like his training is kicking in, but you haven't seen the physiological changes of the hunt. Yeah. Okay. So the first one is going to attack Glory.
Of course it is.
It seems to jump from shadow to shadow, and you are all casting shadows from Abernathy, because obviously his light is shining on you, and then you're casting a shadow. This one comes from the shadow of a table, kind of like a packing table, and it jumps into your shadow, Glory, and it's going to attempt to attack you with its claws.
Yeah.
And just need to check. Yep. Okay. So a 22 definitely hits. Takes 7 points of psychic damage as these incorporeal claws, just made out of shadow, slash through your body. They don't do any damage to the clothing or to your skin, but the pain that comes from it is racking, and it's almost as if you can feel the warmth in your body being ripped out, and panic setting in. And it's very much the kind of panic of being in the dark, even though you have a source of light near you. And it's going to go for a second roll, and that is a 10. As you reel back from the psychic damage, the second claw strikes at you, and he and you can just hear this and your wormling, being that you were the first person attacked, I roll for it, your wormling goes, "Shadow demons, these are just standard, mistress. Nothing that this shaper character would have done anything to, at least I think." And as it finishes its attack, it goes to slink away. You get an attack of opportunity on it.
Oh. Attack of opportunity. That means any attack, right?
That is any melee attack unless you are a warcaster. If you're a warcaster, you may use a spell. If you're not a warcaster, it's only a melee attack that you may do.
Yeah, I don't think
Glory
you
even
can
have
do
a
any
melee?
more.
She can slap it.
Dagger. Slap it, yeah.
I reckon Glory's got a pretty mean right hook, if we're being completely honest.
Obviously, a really mean right
Her
hook.
tail can take a
Yeah,
whack.
I mean, if anything, she'd slap it with the tail as a reaction.
I
Be
like
honest.
I like it. It's kind of got a bit of a dismissive kind of bitch slap to it. I like it. Let's do that.
Mhm.
I will allow for your tail proficiency because it's your tail.
Yeah.
And I will allow it to be either strength or dex based, your choice. For viewers who haven't seen much of Glory's art, where have you been? It's at the beginning of this show and in the break. She has quite a large tail for a tiefling, almost alligator-like in the fact that it's at the base of her spine. It's almost as wide as her butt, so it's a very muscular tail. So give me a roll, Glory.
Give me a moment. I'm making one that is. Am I gonna go on the unarmed strike, or how does this work?
I'll allow an unarmed strike, or you can turn it into a finesse unarmed strike, because it's effectively a whip,
Yeah.
isn't it? So yeah.
Let's see here. 18, and then it's plus my proficiency, right?
You've hit either way, but yeah.
21.
Okay. You lash out with your tail in a really quite cool motion. I mean, I'm sad that this isn't going to do much damage. And you go for your... What is your strength modifier?
Strength.
Yeah.
Or
I thought we
dex.
did a dex.
Hmm?
I thought we did a
Dex,
dex
you said.
attack.
Oh, yeah. If it's a dex attack, what's your dex?
10.
0.
Okay. So...
So plus 0.
plus
That's
0.
why I went with dex instead of strength, but strength is a -1.
Strength is where you put your 8. Okay, so you lash out with the
Yeah.
tail, and the tail has only ever been deployed in the past as an insult. It only does 1 point of damage plus your plus the straight modifier of the thing you used. Your modifier is plus 0, so it's 1 plus 0. So your 1 point of damage goes through it, and this thing is resistant to damage, but there's no such thing as half a point of damage, so it defaults to 1 because you did definitely hit it. And this thing doesn't seem to respond very much to physical attacks. It's incorporeal, and your tail goes straight through it. Some of the shadow kind of moves like disturbed smoke, but you gain a bit of pride back, I guess. Lost 7 hit points, but you gain some pride. And it skirts off into the shadows. And Farewell, what's your passive perception again?
20.
20. Even you can't see it.
Did the passive perception 26?
Isn't it 25?
No, the D&D Beyond was broken. It was running the wrong thing.
I remember when he fixed it.
It was giving me the wrong information.
Yeah, I mean, a plus 10 for perception is still busted. But so at DC 20, you can see most things. I rolled a 23 because this thing is good in darkness. A creature of shadow slips into shadow. Even you don't see it. Okay. Next up is... Okay. So the second one that gets hit is... potentially hit is Aiden. And you watch as his preternatural blood hunter abilities go off. He's not on the hunt, but he knows he's going up against some hinky shit. These things are almost like ghosts anyway, and as this shadow demon just creeps along his shadow and tries to strike him, he turns around with the sword and starts slashing in this complicated movement in the air. And this creature just kind of goes and you watch as the sword kind of goes through the claws. The claws don't get any damage, but they do kind of wisp and curl for a second, and both of them miss. It retreats, and Aiden can, if you wish, do an attack of opportunity.
Yep, he will. Remember, his sword is also silvered.
Yes, I've just checked to see if it has any effect.
That is. Hold on 1 second. That's 22 to hit.
22 definitely hits. Please roll for damage.
And he hasn't had a chance to do his bloody right at the dawn yet. That's annoying. That's 8 points of damage.
Okay. Again, the damage doesn't seem to be doing as well as he would like, but there's definitely a slight disturbance of the body. This is clearly, they're not clearly absolute shadow. They do have a certain amount of substance to them, just not as much as you would like to do an ass kicking. The next person to be attacked is Eclipse, and the two attacks are 18 and 23. So do both of those hits, Corinne?
Yes.
As a reaction, Iden will impose disadvantage on one of those.
Okay. Let's see. It doesn't matter which one. So what I'll do is just roll again, and if it misses, I'll just get rid of one of the hits. Does a 14 hit?
No.
Okay. In that case, one hit gets reduced to 2 hits. Sorry, 2 hits gets reduced to 1 hit. So you only take 10 points of psychic damage. As you take 10 points of psychic damage.
Yep.
As the claw, one claw, just it kind of makes this again a grieved hiss, as one of the claws just goes wide and it just flails, and the second one just scratches you on the back of the leg. But as it does so, it's almost like this damage just shoots up your nervous system and into your brain, and you get this moment of panic. Your heart is pumping faster, and that's where the 10 points of damage come from. And then the final one.
Did I get attack of opportunity, Simon?
Oh, yes, you do, because it does slink away. Oh, and I need to roll.
This is important.
Yeah, and I need to roll. So, for Nick, you can see one of the shadow demons. The first out of the 3, 2 of them have disappeared into nowhere, but you can see the third.
Okay.
So it'll be this one that's just attacked Eclipse. Yeah. You'll see that when it slinks back in. Corinne, go for your attack.
Yes. Is someone within? I assume there is someone. Because we're quite close together. There is someone next to us.
We are fighting defensively, so I imagine we're huddled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you good odds on that. Let me roll a dice. I'm giving you good odds on it though. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you. So the nearest person to you is a recently woken up Cora.
It doesn't matter who it is. It just needs someone.
Yeah.
Isn't it nice to feel so okay?
Yeah. With a natural 17 and +9, I'm pretty sure that hits.
Yep, that hits. Roll for damage.
Yeah, and that is a sneak attack.
Yep.
Because there's someone next to me.
Woo woo.
Yes, I assume Simon knew what I was fishing for when I was.
Oh yeah. You're a rogue. Everybody knows what you're fishing for.
So 4, 6. Okay, so that's a 4. 3. So that is 30 points of damage. Magical.
32, did you
30.
say? 30. Okay.
30.
Yeah.
30
okay.
points of magical damage, so shouldn't be hot.
Okay. Yep. The lash knife does what the lash knife does, and you sling it through the creature. And as you do so, you realize that you're not going to be able to grapple it or do any of this stuff because it's intangible So what you do instead is that you just spin the chain like a corkscrew. So you start to whip this thing up, this thing turns into a twisted mass, and yeah, you have successfully done some damage to it.
Mhm.
And I think that was number 4. No, this was number 3, wasn't it? So the last one is going to attack Farewell. Once again, this thing slinks up and behind you, and an 8 doesn't hit you. Does a 19 hit you, Nick?
Oh, right on the button. That is
yeah.
my counterclass.
Oh, bad news, I'm afraid. So the first one hits your armor, and you're thinking this thing shouldn't be affected by armor, but it's you can see the claws pass through it. It's more a case of depth. It misunderstands where your skin is, and you have a feeling that it's just kind of circled around in amongst the layers of clothes and armor on your chest. Sorry, on your back, because it would have snuck up behind you. But then the second one just goes bam, straight through your body, literally straight through your body, to the point where you get an Aliens moment, and the shadow hand just comes straight through your chest. You take 13 points of psychic damage.
Ow!
Yeah. And it goes to retreat. You can do an attack of opportunity if you wish. And as I seem to remember, you conjured your knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will take my attack of opportunity, and I am going to melee this one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Where's my equipment gone? There's Veilbreaker. Actions. So this is how often I melee attack. 21.
21. Yeah, you hit.
One of us.
Yep.
We don't melee.
8 points of damage.
Okay. I need to. I tried to bring up the melee knife. I brought up the lash knife instead. Hang on. So how many points did you say? 20.
8.
I was about to
I
say.
wish it did 20 points of damage.
I don't know why.
Wish.
I didn't. I don't know why I heard 20 in my head, but yeah, I'll go with that. That's better. So all 8 points. Slash through it, and it kind of squeals. This kind of sinuous squeal, very different to the kind of hissing sound of the others as your knife passed. Seem to have caused it. Whereas the others, their sound seems to be of inconvenience. Pretty sure you just gave this one pain. It slinks off, and with a 2 on the dice, you can see Shadow Demon 3 and 4.
Who can anybody else see the one that rolled a 2?
Yeah, pretty much everybody. Let me just check. Yeah, everybody.
Nice.
The pain that Farewell caused it means that it's kind of discombobulated a bit like the one that you hit, Eclipse. But whereas the one that you hit still managed to use that twisting form, it's kind of it's momentarily blended form, and it's managed to use that to kind of get in amongst stuff. This one seems to be reeling in pain and thrashing in pain. So even though it goes into the shadows, it's moving so erratically that everybody can see it. So you all can see 1, and Farewell can see 2. And then we get to Eclipse herself.
Come on, Eclipse.
You can see 1.
Yes.
Fucking ruin it.
Can I hide in shadows as a bonus action, Simon?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Need that sneak attack, you know?
Yeah. With a natural 16 and plus a billion, where's my spell? Plus 11, so 27.
Okay. I feel like this shouldn't happen, but somehow you've managed to hide in shadows from a shadow demon. I want my money back. These shadow demons should not be hoodwinked by a person not made of shadow hiding in shadows.
By a white cat.
By a white
may I
cat,
just
yes,
point
yes.
out.
Yeah, have super disadvantage next time you do that, yeah. But just roll like 50 dice and you get the lowest result. So, yeah, roll for your attack. I presume you're attacking.
Yeah. Yes. With advantage because let's find this.
And this is the one that Farewell just slashed at. You didn't.
Funny.
That's it. This is the shit we need in the clip to do. Come on. Fucking
Okay.
ruin the combat clips.
Okay, first the D4s, they're 2 1, so that's 2. Now a bunch of D6s. Oh, great. So first 2 is 3. So 5 plus 10, so 15, and then 2 of these plus 11, which is
Come on.
26. Plus 6 is
32.
32.
Yeah,
Plus 5 is
37.
37.
Okay. 37 points of damage, yeah. So you sling that lash knife out, and it goes through this creature. Once again, it's intangible. It does mess up its form, the magical property of the item that you have, even though it isn't a +1 or does a form of magical damage. It is a magical weapon, which means that it can interact with things slightly differently because it has a magical presence.
It is a plus 1.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
Oh, so it's actually plus 6. Sorry about that, I forgot.
Oh right, okay.
So
I'll take an extra one off. So yes, the
That's
this
against the
has
thing that-
a magical signature as well as a physical signature, and it seems to be that that's the thing that's really getting a purchase on this. And it goes through the demon, and yeah, you can see this thing is just it's like a bunch of scraps of shadow all orbiting each other now. It's and you can see the 2 claws are kind of disembodied, orbiting around it all as it's trying to struggle and gain its form. So that's your turn, Eclipse.
Yeah, that was against the one that I could see, which was the one that Farrell.
That's right, yeah. The one that Farewell already kind of slashed. So it was in pain before,
Yeah.
now it's in pain and kind of struggling to regain its form and divine its form. However, because you attacked, you are visible now.
Yes.
So next up, Nick playing Aiden. Aiden is the next one to do so.
So for his bonus action, Aiden will use his Rite of the Dawn, and he will select Radiant damage onto his rapier.
Pretty sure he will, yeah. And so as he does so, the radiant damage, the radiant energy as it goes across the blade, gains a bunch of hisses from the shadow demons nearby. They don't like it.
Yeah, and I just so I understand, they've stepped back and away out of melee range, and he'd have to move towards them.
Yes, he would have to move to the edges of the light. I'm feeling like was it Farashna Devara, the I've said that wrong, I'm sure, but the shadow creatures from Doctor Who.
Who turned out that light?
But yeah, they were at the edges of the light. This is kind of the same thing that these things are doing.
He will hold his action and he will hold his melee attack
Mm-hmm.
for the moment one of them steps in to engage them again.
Sure. Yeah.
Because he's not going to want to move out, so he's taking a almost defensive attacking stance as he would normally do.
Sure. I'll even give. I think that's the right tactic to do here. I'll actually award that and say that he can have up to what I'd consider to be 10 foot of movement. So I'm going to say the first attack that comes in to anybody, regardless of who they are, he would be able to kind of do like a forward lunge with his rapier, and will be able to attack, regardless of who the target is. He will attack the first one to come into the area. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Cool. Farewell, yourself.
Yep. So Farewell will reach down, touch his holy symbol, and will go, stand and be counted. And as he does, he will summon his spiritual guides, and you'll watch as a radius around him, as other sort of silver spectral genasi, all wearing different forms of like leather or plate mail, like he's got, and various kinds of weapons, all just stand around him in a radius circle, defending him.
Yeah, I'm going to add a bit of flavor to this because I love the fact that you've made your spiritual guardians your ancestors. Yeah, as they appear in Aquan, so only you can understand what they're saying. For the rest, they can just hear kind of, I'm guessing it's kind of a little bit like whale song. And you can hear them say, protect Farewell, protect the family. He has something to do. Protect him, protect him. And they are just kind of orbiting around you, very, very fast ghosts. Kind of taking defensive positions around you. So when a creature enters your radius, isn't it?
Enters or begins their turn in my within 30 feet of me. Just
Yeah.
double check.
15, I think.
Yeah, within. Call forth the spirits. Distance of 15 feet for the duration.
Yeah.
And if they start or enter into their turn in my area, they have to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 17.
Spiritual Guardians is Holy Blender, and we love it. So, you can watch as they're kind of orbiting around you, taking defensive stances. They've got cleric weapons and shields, the Farewell clan have appeared to help you. So that's that, and finally, Cora and Glory. So Cora first. What are you doing?
Mhm.
So I can't see any of them, as far as I know, because
You can see
there
one
was
of
only
them.
one we could see, and I thought, is that not dispersed?
No,
Is it alive?
It's still there. It's still its form is kind of twisting because it's just had the shit stabbed out of it by Eclipse, but it's still existing. It's trying to pull itself together to give itself some form, but it is there and it is targetable.
Right. And she's seen people hit it with knives that seem to do damage. Like, is that been obvious?
It's
Yeah.
only been
That
by
blade
magical
seemed to
knife.
work.
Only magical
But
thing.
Farewell
by
hit
magical.
something as well that did loads of damage, and that
With
was
his
nice.
This is
magical
mad.
knife.
With this magical knife. You saw.
They're both
I think
magical
you and you saw. I think Aiden's knife not do as much damage, and Gloria's tail not do as much damage. So
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
if you wanna pick
The tail
Cora's
isn't
not
made to do
really-
damage.
Yeah. So is the room quite darker than apart from? Is it quite a big room and we're only getting a bit of daylight? Are they actually hiding in the shadows, or are they coming from the shadows? Sort
Okay,
of thing?
so
Does it look like?
they switched off the lights. There were arcane lights in here, according to the original
Yeah.
description. They seem to have found a way to disperse the arcane lights, but they weren't able to disperse the light spell that was on Abernathy's robe. And so you're in basically this circle of light coming from this hapless wizard who's searching around, and he can only see the same thing that you can see. His initiative's right at the end, and he's there with this light spell going. And so you're in this circle.
How far does light stretch? How far?
I think it's a 30-foot radius, so 60 foot. It goes 30 and 30, so it's bright light and then dim light. And so they are scooting out to the dim light area, but they're finding a shadow in the dim light, which is doing the same purpose for them.
How big is the room then?
Oh, it's a huge room. This is a giant loading bay for the whole facility.
Cool. Cora is gonna just try and she's not really sure. She's gonna look at that one that's sort of half dispersed, and she will Eldritch Blast to see if she can just blast it apart.
Remember that it's a crit.
Well, I can't hold it, unfortunately. I'm assuming it's any type of hit, no matter what.
Regardless
I'm
of what you
using.
do, yeah, whatever you do, it's a critical
Yeah,
hit.
and it's
Don't
the
even-
only one I can see. So
Yeah. Okay, so
Kill it.
your first Eldritch Blast, because I think at this level you get 2. Or is it 3? Do you get 3 at this point?
I don't think so. I think it's only 2 still.
Okay, 2. So
But I can
your
choose 2 different creatures, but I can only see one still.
You can
right?
only see one, so both on there. So the first one hits and crits. So roll me 2d10 for the first part of that.
Oh, it just
Yeah.
What was it? How much?
So 2d10 for the first bolt, and then we'll roll for the second.
Yes, I was doing it wrong. 10 for that first bolt,
Okay.
which is the crit, right? So, do I roll again, or do you just double that?
Did you roll 2d10?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
that was it. It was You
I'm
rolled
not playing-
twice the dice.
Yeah. I
Okay.
know what I'm doing. Honestly, I've been playing for almost a year, right?
And the
This,
second.
no, it's a +9, isn't it? So, it's 15.
Yeah,
to hit
hits.
the
Hits.
second?
Yeah, this thing's just swirling around. It hits.
So the one dice.
1d10 this time.
A 3.
A 3. The first one, being the crit that it is, you just throw forward this force, and you feel like this catharsis, as this little bit of pent up rage you didn't realize was there, but it doesn't seem like it belongs to you. It's almost like it was given to you, like this little pocket of rage, just flies through your spell and does that hideous 10 points of damage. It blasts it to the point where it's just a bunch of shadow motes flying through the air, and then you just give that moment of concentration and you wait for the motes to kind of almost be in a line, and you throw the final force bolt. It goes through them all, and it just goes and just disperses, and it's gone.
So it looks like it's killed it essentially, or does it look like it's just dispersed it? Do I know?
He's dead.
Yeah, I'm not very.
You know
Right.
he's dead.
Okay, cool. I will. Yeah, well, I don't know where to. I don't know where I am in comparison to anything. I
You're
was
in
just
a-
looking at my
you're
thing
in a
again. It
circle.
does say I can hide. Can I bonus action hide? How do I know if I can bonus action
You
hide?
can't
Did it
bonus
tell me?
action hide. There are only 2 people who can, and that is rogues
So
and
it would
goblins.
be an action to hide if
It
you
would,
wanted
yeah.
to hide.
And you used your action for Eldritch
Yes,
Blast,
no,
so-
I realized that.
Yeah.
I've just read that bonus action under my thing says I have 2 weapon fighting. I don't know. Is that a general thing? I've never seen that before. I've never
Everybody
looked.
has- pretty much everybody has that.
Oh, okay. But that
Yeah.
gives you two attacks. It's quite useful. Anyway, I am going to stay where I am, I guess.
Sure, stay in the light. Yeah, stay in the light. And what I'm probably thinking is the last attack of the night, being that it's 2 minutes to 11. Glory.
Go on, Glory, fuck 'em up.
Yeah.
So, Glory, can
Yeah,
you tell me what
I
your
can't
passive perception is?
See any one of them, right?
Tell me what your passive
Oh,
perception
wait.
is, and I'll tell you.
Perception. That is 10 plus my perception, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, you can see one of them.
Oh, how nice.
Ruin it. Go on, Felicia. Kill him.
Murder.
I'm pretty pissed. So let's see about some fire.
The one that Eclipse previously, well, it attacked her, then she attacked it back. It's there. You can just about see it.
So it's
Mhm.
quite hurt, so you probably don't need to blow the entire load, but do if you want to.
And that's the only one I can see.
It's the only one you can see.
That's a little too bad. I guess.
Based on the 2 that you've
Ooh.
seen,
I
you
could do
have a feeling that they're all somewhere within about a 30 to 50 yard radius around you. sorry, 30 to 50-foot radius around you. It's whether or not you can cover that range in a spell that's not going to hurt your friends.
You know I can. That's
Yeah,
the
she's
thing.
a sorcerer. This is some sorcerer shit.
But these are small fries, so let's do something easier instead. I am gonna throw a fang at the one I can see.
Okay, go for it. Go for your fang attack.
Mm-hmm. Freiner's Fang, my modified ice knife.
Yep,
Sweet.
That is a 27 to hit.
it hits. Roll for damage. Initial damage.
Yeah. Range spell attack on a hit, target takes 1d10, I believe. I'm just gonna double check what we have written in the special one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still 1d10, I think.
Because this is one of your acid mastery spells, isn't it? That we put together.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it's just literally swapping the damage type to acid.
And
Not
putting
really.
lots of flavour in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tasty,
Okay,
tasty acid.
1d10 acid damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I roll a 10. Hello.
Okay. So
And then, since it's acid, it's also my charisma modifier and extra damage. So that's +5. That's 15 damage.
mm-hmm.
And then it explodes
It
after
does.
it has dealt that.
Mhm.
And each creature within a 5 feet point of where the fang exploded must make a Constitution saving throw.
The only creature within the range, which is the one that you're attacking, fails the Constitution saving throw.
Nice. It fails it, and then it is 2d6 more acid damage.
Okay, roll
Plus
for that.
5.
Let's see here. Wait, do I add my charisma again? I don't think so.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you do. Due to acid mastery, you do.
Oh yeah, I do. That's another
Unfortunately.
15 damage.
Okay. Right. So
That is 30 damage from a level 1 spell.
okay, I'll
God,
describe.
I feel terrible for blowing my 3rd level spell slot now.
You might not, Nick, when you hear the description. So, you watch as Glory reaches into the air. Her hand suddenly blurs, and she's holding this nasty-looking fang in her hand. She opens up her hand, and the fang kind of levitates and kind of turns point towards the creature she can see, and it flies straight at the creature. It passes through the creature's body and hits the floor and sticks in the floor beneath it. It does hiss with the inconvenience, proving that some damage has happened. And then this thing explodes into this small cloud of acid that is a 5-foot radius around it. And as the acid starts to dissipate, this mist starts to dissipate, you have a feeling, Glory, that it didn't do as much damage as you'd hoped. Acid is normally good against physical creatures, and this is an intangible one. However,
Yeah.
it being magical acid, everybody likes magical acid. You can see that where the mist of the acid is passing through the shadow is roiling, is what we'd call it, and it is having some effect. So it did damage it, just not as much as you would like for it to have done.
Aw.
Nice.
Sad.
Okay, so let's wrap up, shall we? Standing in a circle of light, having recently had your minds twisted and tested by horrible sights and a strange dark religious symbol linked to the demons that you know to be in this facility, you find yourself assailed by yet another variant of the creatures that are in this facility. You know that you need to get to your location quickly. That if you dally too much, you'll be fighting every one of them on. It's clear that they know now where you are, and they're learning what your limitations are as they watch you use your abilities. The clock is ticking. You may have hours before the portal closes, albeit I think it's just under 2 hours now. But you need to get there, and you need to get there in one piece. You have means of escape, but nothing's guaranteed. So we will leave your characters there for now. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you
Oh,
for everybody
okay.
who is watching. Because we've been messing about with video and testing this new video format, we're not going to do a raid tonight. But I will ask the guys to have a look around for somebody to raid. I'm tempted if they are still streaming next week, we'll raid the RPG Lab back because they're great. You guys are amazing. We love you. And I went very well today. We love you. And we will see you all next week for the continuing adventure with less technical difficulties than usual and new high definition characters. Well, players.
Whoop.
We will see you next week for more adventures with the Benefactor. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
Good
night.
night.